So let us continue the topic salary. The basics which we discussed in the last class of salary. From those basics now we will now move on to discussing the concepts in detail. The main points which we discussed yesterday were that there are two types of benefits in salary, monetary and non-monetary. As far as monetary benefits are concerned, how do I compute the value on which I need to pay tax on the monetary benefit received by me from my employer? So I know how much monetary benefit I have earned. I need to simply check how much is exempt, remaining is the answer of taxable value. In non-monetary thing, the rule is slightly different. You do not know how much in monetary term you have earned. If you are getting any non-monetary thing, you have to convert that non-monetary into monetary value. And for this, you will not waste your time first in converting that non-monetary into monetary to know how much is on an average earned, then how much is exempt. In this case, directly you compute the value which is taxable. Now let me share that file so that I can write what I am saying, because in this case then you will be able to understand it better. I hope now it is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
So what I have discussed, the basics as far as salary is concerned, that some monetary benefits I receive from my employer and some non-monetary benefits. Income Tax Act is not at all concerned how much you are receiving. Income Tax Act is concerned about the value on which you have to pay tax. So how do I compute that value? In monetary, I know how much I have earned. I know this. This I know, there is no problem. What I don't know is how much is exempt. And that is why we are reading the topic Income Tax Act in semester 3. This is what we need to learn, that's it. Even every layman who is not an expert in commerce knows how much is the earning. What they might not know is how much is exempt. You as an expert will know after some time that how much is exempt, because now you are reading the tax. So this is what I need to compute, and this is the answer, taxable value. Income Tax Act is concerned about this value, because this we will include as your income. In non-monetary, you do not know how much is earned. That is why there is no need to know how much is exempt. You directly compute how much is taxable. This is that value on which income tax department is having an eye, that this is the value which should be included by the employee while computing his or her income under the head salary. Is this point clear? Please raise your hand. Do you remember this point? That I am concerned with this taxable value. Please raise your hand. Yes, great. So I am now starting with my monetary benefits. So now from now onwards, our lectures will be that I will tell you how to compute exemptions as far as monetary is concerned. Just like residential status, I divided in two parts. First, I taught you how to determine the residential status. Then I taught you the scope of income. Here also I will do the same thing. First, I will tell you computing taxable value in monetary. When all monetary will be completed, then I will move to non-monetary. So I'm now starting with the monetary values or things, where I will tell you how much is exempt in respective monetary benefit. There are hundreds of monetary benefits. Every monetary benefit has its own exemption rules. So my discussion will be now. I will tell you computing taxable value of monetary items. That's it. This is what my job is for some days. Continuously, I will tell you only how to compute taxable value of monetary items. I am not supposed to tell you how much is earned. This question will tell. Or in real life, this is told by your client, or at whatever level you are, you have this figure earned. So you are not supposed to spend much time on computing how much is earned. This everyone knows. You have to spend time on computing how much is exempt. So within this monetary, I am now starting first with retirement benefits. Retirement benefits are those monetary benefits which are generally given at the time of retirement. It's not that always. Generally, these are given at the time of retirement. For example, gratuity is a retirement benefit. Provident fund, when you retire, you will get back your provident fund, is a retirement benefit. Leave encashment is a retirement benefit. Employers give leave to the employees. Some day leaves are given every year, and if employee does not avail those leaves, these leaves gets accumulated in employee's account. So when he or she retires, he can surrender those leaves, and in surrendering to that leave, in lieu of surrendering that those leaves, you will get cash. So that is known as leave encashment. When you were given leave but you worked, you didn't avail those leaves, you worked hard in your company, so you have a right to get income now. That is leave encashment. And then we have pension. Now these are normally most common retirement benefits. At least for our level in semester 3 we will use these four. So now I will start with gratuity. I'm telling you the tax treatment of gratuity. Normally gratuity is what? Not normally, gratuity is what? Generally given to the employee for rendering services of in past so many years with the employer. Any employee who has been doing the service with the employer for the past many years is entitled for gratuity. Generally given at the time of retirement, generally, or when you leave the job, when you retire from the job, whatever is that situation, generally gratuity is being given to the employee. In such scenario, when you are leaving the job or you are retiring, or unfortunately if death happens, then of course. Normally during continuity of service, gratuity is normally not given. While you are continuing, normally gratuity is not given normally. So for the time being, I am discussing a situation where gratuity is given when at the time of retirement or death or leaving the job. So I'm discussing this situation. In this, there are three categories. Maybe you are a government employee, or you are an employee who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. For gratuity, we have a separate act, Payment of Gratuity Act. This act tells you in which organizations Gratuity Act is applicable by default, or it is legal obligation on the company to cover the employees under this act. Then there may be other employees other than first and second category. That means who is neither covered in government, that means other employees. It means what? Non-government employee or an employee who is not covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. So I'm not discussing that scenario where gratuity is being given to the employee during continuity of employment. That I'm not discussing for the time being. My concentration right now is tell you the tax treatment of gratuity, which is a retirement benefit. And if you receive gratuity either at the time of retirement or, God forbid, death or leaving the job. Now, if you're a government employee, then it is 100% tax free. Whatever you receive is 100% tax free if you are a government employee. This is first point. So if someone is in a government job and receives 40 lakh at the time of retirement from the government job, he or she is not supposed to include 40 lakh while computing his or her income under their salary, because as per the provision which I have just told you, it is 100% tax free. Government employee. If any employee is that who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act, any employee who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act, this question will tell you. It is not our job to check whether he or she is covered or not. This examiner has to tell. Or even in real life, the person who has come to you for your advice, that person has to tell whether that person is covered or not. If any employee getting gratuity at the time of retirement or leaving the job or death, if that employee is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act, then also exemption is available, but not 100%. In this case, I can say that out of gratuity received, least of the following amount is exempt. Least of the following is exempt. So I will tell you 3 points now. In the working note, you have to compute these 3 points. And for example, you have received, suppose I am in a private sector and I am covered under Payment of Gratuity Act. I received 20 lakh rupees at the time of retirement. Then the question arises, will I include 20 lakh in my salary or not while paying tax to the government? Answer depends upon this working. In rough, you have to compute 3 points, which I will tell you now, and whichever is least figure out of these 1, 2, and 3, that will be exempt, remaining will be taxable. So what are these 3 points? This I am discussing now. So I am continuing that case where my first point is what? 15 days salary. Now everything is in working note now. 15 days salary. Who is this employee? Who is covered under Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. Okay. So this is the tax treatment of this employee who is covered under this Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. This Gratuity Act simply tells you in which organization it is applicable, what is the procedure, etc. That's it. 15 days salary based on salary last drawn for each completed year of service in excess of 6 months. This is my first point, that compute 15 days salary. So the next question arises, what is this salary? That answer I will give. how do we compute it, what is the meaning of completed year, etc., etc. So all these meanings I will tell you. For the time being, let me only write it. So it is 15 days salary. Second point, 20 lakh is the amount which is fixed by the government of India. That is the amount specified by the government. So this is the amount fixed by the government. And do you know why this amount has been fixed by the government? Can you think logically that why this amount has been fixed? Why government has given, or out of three, why government has put one amount flat? Can anyone make a judgment? Anyone who can try? No one can try. Least of the following is exempt. I have written this sentence. Least of the following is exempt. Now can you try that why some amount has been directly given by the government?
So that is the maximum amount they want to exempt.
Yes. So if my point 1 comes out to be 50 lakh, point 3 comes out to be 80 lakh, point 2 will remain 20 lakh. So government is giving the exemption, but it has put a limit that in any case your exemption will never exceed 20 lakh. That is the simple reason. These are the 3 points which you have to learn, or and every layman cannot understand it. Since you are studying tax, you know that how much and how we have to compute the exemption. Now within these 3 points, so many things are giving some confusion. That is note 1. First, what is this salary? Now meaning of salary changes for every monetary benefit. The meaning which I will tell you now, for this purpose, in case of gratuity received by an employee who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity 1972, the salary meaning is different than the salary in case of computation of house rent allowance exemptions. The meaning of salary will change when I will compute the exemptions of leave encashment. So meaning of the salary also changes with every monetary benefit. That is why Income Tax Act has become a technical subject. It's been 60 years old subject, having thousands of rulings and notification circulars, and that is why so many times this demand has arisen that replace it with a new act altogether. Gradually, yes, you will also realize that why it has become so much bulky. So meaning of salary in this case is what? Two things are included: basic salary plus DNS allowance. This is the salary only for computing exemption of gratuity in case employee is covered under payment of gratuity. Don't use this definition of salary for every purpose. You are computing, since you are reading the act, you must know that act is very specific. You cannot apply everything everywhere. So this is the meaning only for this purpose. That's it. Then next question arises, when you get salary, what is salary last drawn? Last drawn means, can anyone tell me what is salary last drawn? Latest month salary. Suppose you retire on 31st Jan. So your salary in the month of Jan will be known as last drawn, latest salary. So how do you compute 15 days salary? This is next question. Whatever is your salary last drawn, of course, that is of 1 month, of course. Salary last drawn, so that is of course 1 month salary, divided by 26 and multiplied by 15, you get 15 days salary. This is your 15 days salary. Salary last drawn divided by 26. Can you tell me why I am dividing by 26? Logically, can you think?
So 4 Sunday and 30 days.
Yeah, because 26 is maximum number of working days. Normally 26 is the maximum number of working days. So salary last John, that is of 1 month, you divide it by 26, you get average 1 day salary. You multiply it by 15, you get 15 days salary. Then the next point arises, what is this completed year? What do you mean by this completed year? Anyone who can make a judgment, what do you mean by this completed year?
The year which has been completed, basically the year, the number of years we are working in the organization.
No, any fraction of the year is ignored. You might be correct, but not 100%. Any fraction of the year is ignored. For example, if my service is of 27 years and 11 months, completed year means 27 only. Any fraction of the year is ignored. That means last year is not complete. So what is completed year? Any fraction of the year is to be ignored for the purpose of computing this exemption. But I will not ignore completed, I will not ignore every fraction, because it says if any year exceeds 6 months, or if last year exceeds 6 months, then count it as complete year. So I will ignore only that fraction which does not exceed 6 months. So in excess of 6 months means completed year, or let me write on next page. Just complete on the same page. In excess of 6 months means any incomplete year in excess of 6 months is not ignored, to be taken. Had there been only completed year, then you ignore every fraction. Suppose my service becomes 12 years 364 days, I will count my completed year only 12. But in this case, if service completion is 12 years and 7 months, I will count my completed year as 13, not 12. I hope the point is clear. Please raise your hand if you are getting little bit idea about the concepts which we are doing. There might be some doubt till I discuss numerical, you can't understand it fully, but at least you are getting an idea that why we are studying salary. What is our purpose of studying salary? Only to check that whatever you earn, how much is taxable. So until unless you know exemptions, various exemptions, you cannot compute the taxable value. That's it. Now, let me discuss an example from my book, and then through that example, we will try to understand this concept. So let us discuss an example from my book, Concept Building Approach, and it is given on page number. Let me see the page number. 4.7. So let me show you that question. You also please take this screenshot. Then I will start attempting it. Please take this screenshot of this example. Please raise your hand if you have taken this screenshot. Others, if you have not taken, please take it. So most of you have taken this screenshot. Now let us discuss this example. Is it visible or not? Is still the screen visible?
Yes, sir, the example is still visible.
X is employed by Reliance Industries Limited. He is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. Question will tell you whether the employee is covered or not, because until unless the question tells, we cannot decide whether he or she is covered or not. But if nothing is mentioned, then I can assume anything. Normally, if nothing is mentioned, we assume that the employee is not covered. Normally, it is the convention that if nothing is mentioned, we assume that the employee is not covered. But in real life, you don't have any choice of assumption, because in real life, everything is crystal clear. You must be having the case with you, and then you have to solve it. That's it. So in real life, there are less chances of any assumption. Everything is clear. These assumptions are basically only for academic level. He is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. He received gratuity of rupees 23 lakh from his employer on 31st December 2020 when he retired. 31st December 20 is in my previous year. My previous year is 2020-21. So 2020-21 is my previous year, and that is why I am concerned about the tax treatment. Had this amount of gratuity been not received in my previous year, I would not have done it. I am concerned with my previous year. So in my year, I am receiving 23 lakh. I need to check whether I will include entire 23 lakh or nothing or some amount while computing the salary. His wages during, now wages and salary are used interchangeably. I can use the word wages or salary, doesn't matter. His wages during April 2020 to June 2020 were 40,000 per month, and during July to December, that means till I retire, the salary increased from 40,000 to 50,000. He also received DNS allowance at the rate of 20% of wages. 60% of DNS allowance forms part for the purpose of computing his retirement benefits. You skip this bracket for the time being. Skip this bracket. And bonus of 40,000 for the 9 months during April to December. So in my previous year, when I worked for 9 months, on an average I received the bonus of 40,000. This 40,000 is not per month bonus, it is not per year bonus, it is total 9 months bonus. Compute his taxable gratuity for the assessment year 21-22, assuming that he has retired after servicing the company for 27 years and 11 months. Now let us discuss this case. First of all, before proceeding further, I found or I noticed some points which are relevant. What is this gratuity? The moment gratuity comes, your mind must start thinking, is the employee government or covered under Payment of Gratuity Act or not covered? Is it received at the time of retirement or during continuity? So I found that it is received at the time of retirement. Then I found that employee is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. Then I also found that it is received in my previous year, or you can say during my previous year. So when all these things I found, then I proceeded further. It was necessary that in which year it is received, because for your year you have assessment year 21-22, or you can say previous year 20-21. So what you will say, since the employee is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act, out of 23 lakh received as gratuity, list of the following is exempt. First point, second and third. Now before proceeding to first point, I need to compute so many things. So first point, can you tell me what is salary in my example? What is salary or how much is salary?
So 50,000 last round.
So salary is not only 50,000, salary is last drawn latest month 50,000 plus how much is DNS allowance?
So
DA
20,000.
DA is basically to compensate for cost of living index, higher cost of living. So it is 10,000. As I told you, Government of India revises DA twice every year, on 1st Jan every year and on 1st July. So this is my salary. Second point, how much is 15 days salary? It is salary last drawn, which is 60,000 divided by 26, maximum number of working days in a month, multiplied by 15. How much is this figure? Compute it. 60,000 divided by 26 into 15, that is 34,615.38. This is 15 days salary. Now, what is my first point? It is 15 days salary, which I computed 34,615.38. 34,615.38 multiplied by completed year of service in excess of 6 months. For how many years this employee did the job in this company? 27 years, 11 months. I will not ignore 11 months, because since this last month exceeds 6 months, I will count it as complete year. So I will multiply it by 28. This is my first point. So this figure will be 969,231. So you write here complete sentence, being 15 days salary computed, etc., etc. So whatever is the theory, you have to write it. You have to write it. You cannot simply write figure. You have to explain what is exactly this figure represent. So that same thing which I have written in the previous slide. This first point, you have to write that. That's it. Now, second point was flat 20 lakh being the amount specified by the government that you have to write. And last is gratuity actually received 23 lakh being the amount of gratuity actually received. Now how much is least? 969. So this is what the answer is. 969,231 being the least is exempt from tax. If this is exempt, then how much is taxable? So this is how you compute. Total received gratuity is 23 lakh. How much is taxable? It will be 13 lakh 30,769. This is the value which I have learned now, and this is what we will do in entire chapter. We will be having the figure and we have to simply compute how much is taxable. This figure will ultimately go in my final column where I will compute my salary. I will simply write that gratuity note 1, this is working note 1, and I will simply write the figure 13,30769. I'm not concerned with 23 lakh. That will come directly in my bank account. Income tax department is not concerned with 23 lakh. They will say you simply tell us the amount which is taxable. That is the entire calculation of this topic. When any employee who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972 receives gratuity at the time of retirement or leaving the job, during the previous year you receive the amount. So out of that amount, how much is taxable? The entire calculation revolves around doing this simple calculation, that 13 lakh 3769 is the amount which is taxable as gratuity. If this is clear, please raise your hand. If not clear, ask me the doubt. Okay. Now next point. Now let me discuss another case where the employee is not covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. So now I will discuss this case. For such employees, what will happen? That I am discussing now. Employee who is neither a government employee, because in case of government employee 100% tax free, nor an employee who is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. And of course getting leave and getting this gratuity at the time of retirement, death, or leaving the job. So here also 3 points. Out of gratuity received, least of the following is exempt. Here also 3 points, but concept will change. First point, rather than 15 days salary, now I am using the word half month salary. It might look similar, but in reality there is a change. Half month salary based on, now I'm not using the word last John. Now I'm using different word based on, or different words based on average monthly salary. For each completed year of service. Here also the words are changed. I'm not using the words now in excess of 6 months. I'm simply using for each completed year of salary. For each completed year, that's it. This is the change when an employee is not covered under Payment of Gratuity. First point is half month salary based on average monthly salary for each completed year. Second and third are same. Here also maximum limit 20 lakh being the amount specified by the government. And third, gratuity actually received. Now here also I have to compute some notes. So the first question arises, what is this salary? Can you tell me what is salary? Now it is different. It includes three things: basic salary plus DNS allowance. But now I'm not writing only DNS allowance. I'm within bracket, I'm using a point forming part of salary. Plus commission based on, this is new point, it was missing in last case. Commission based on fixed percentage of turnover achieved by the employee. This is salary. So as you can notice here that within gratuity, in two different categories, the meaning of salaries change. That is why income tax is little bit technical, because for examination you have to learn these things. For other purposes, the meaning of salary will again change. Now the salary is basic salary plus DNS allowance forming part of salary. I will tell you the meaning of these words forming part of salary later on, plus commission based on fixed percentage of turnover achieved by the employee. The total of these will give me salary. Second note, it is not last drawn salary now. It is not last drawn salary. Average monthly salary, or not average monthly, for the timing you write, salary is to be computed for 10 months. That is why I will compute average later. No, salary is to be computed for 10 months immediately preceding the month of retirement. For example, what is the meaning of this? For example, if employee is retired, if employee is retired on 29th or 28th Feb 2021, I will take the salary of 10 months ignoring the month of retirement. It says immediately preceding the month of retirement. So my salary of 10 months will come from salary for 10 months means salary during April 2020 till Jan 2021. If you count these will become 10 months. This is another change, that here you have to compute the salary for 10 months, not last drawn, 10 months average. And that while computing 10 months, we have to ignore the month of retirement. Like employee retired on 28th Feb, I ignored Feb. Had employee retired on 1st Feb, still I would have ignored Feb. So it does not matter in any month whether that employee is retiring on the beginning, middle or end. You ignore that month and then you count backward 10 months. This is 10 months salary. So how do you compute average? You simply divide by 10. Average monthly salary is what? Total of 10 months salary as computed above. Divided by 10. You get average monthly salary. And logically, can you tell me how will you get half month salary? This is what this provision is. How do you get half month salary? You have average monthly salary, you divide it by 2, you get half month salary. Is this point clear?
Yeah.
Sir, can you explain the average monthly salary once again?
Yeah. So there are different things here. Half month salary based on average monthly salary. First of all, meaning of salary is different. Then you have to compute the salary of not latest. In the working out, you have to take 10 months salary, and while computing 10 months, you have to ignore the month of retirement, and then you go backward till 10 months are coming. In my example, I assume that the employee retired in Feb 21, so I ignored Feb and I took the salary from April 20 till Jan 21. These will become 10 months. So you have 10 months salary. You divide it by 10, you get 1 month salary, that is average. You again divide it by 2, so you get half month salary. Point clear or no?
So you have written total of 10 months salary divided by 2.
That is wrong. Oh, that is wrong. You divide it by 10. So first you take 10 months, then you lower it down to 1 month, then you lower it down to half month. That's it. That was wrongly. Is this point clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Then last point is, point says each completed year of service. What do you mean by completed year? While computing completed year of service, any fraction of the year is ignored. Like if I have done a service of 27 years, 11 months, I will take only 27. In last year, I was not ignoring every fraction. I was ignoring that fraction only which does not exceed 6 months. But now I will ignore every fraction, even if that fraction is of 364 days. Even if any year is short by 1 day, I have to ignore that fraction, and that remaining figure is your completed year of service. Please raise your hand if this theory is clear.
So please repeat the last point.
While computing completed year of service, ignore every fraction. Like if my service is 27 years, 11 months in any company, I will take my completed year as 27 only. That's it. Point clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if you have understood this theory, please raise your hands. Now, do you have another lecture also at 2:45?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we should end the discussion here, I think. And in the next lecture, I will discuss numerical video. So for the time being, you assume that you have not covered this point where employee is not covered. You have to only revise till employee is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. I will discuss this example in the next class. So that's all from my side, and goodbye.